Dad shoved me through the glass door and called me worthless. I smiled as blood dripped down my face and said, "You just lost everything. This is Audrey, and the night my own father, the CEO of Lancaster Technologies, threw me through a glass door, I lay bleeding on the marble floor of our family mansion. He just called me worthless, a nobody, the blood soaking into my ridiculously expensive silk blouse. But as I looked up at him, a chilling smile spread across my blood-streaked face, because in that broken glass I didn't see my defeat. I saw the shattered pieces of his empire, and I knew by morning it would all come crashing down. My story, the real story, begins long before that moment of shattering glass. I was born into a world of immense privilege, the only child of Harold and Grace Lancaster. My father had taken my grandfather William's garage startup, a medical device company, and turned it into a powerhouse. By the time I was born, we lived in a sprawling 20,000 square foot estate overlooking the Pacific. But it wasn't just about the luxury. My earliest memories are of sitting on my grandfather's knee, listening to him explain how our devices saved lives. "Audrey," he'd say, his eyes crinkling at the corners, "one day all of this will be yours to protect. Remember, business is about more than profit. It's about purpose." My mother, Grace, she was the very heart of our family. She donated millions to children's hospitals and made sure I understood that our privilege came with a profound responsibility. Every single Christmas, she'd take me to deliver gifts to children in those hospitals. "Look them in the eyes," she taught me. "Everyone deserves dignity." Everything changed when I turned 12. Mom was diagnosed with aggressive pancreatic cancer. Within 3 terrifying months, she was gone. My world imploded. My father, he retreated into his work, leaving me to process my grief in the suffocating silence of our enormous home. I'd sit in her closet, breathing in the fading scent of her perfume, desperately trying to remember the sound of her laugh. Then came Stephanie. Just 11 months after my mother's funeral, my father introduced me to his new girlfriend. 6 weeks later, they were married. She was 20 years younger than him, with perfectly manicured nails that dug into my shoulder when she'd hug me for photos. "We are going to be such good friends," she'd coo while the cameras flashed. 2 days later, her son Douglas, 17, handsome and utterly devoid of ambition, moved in. He immediately became the sole focus of my father's attention. What started as showing him the ropes of the business quickly morphed into grooming him as the heir apparent. I was relegated to the background of family photos and afterthought. Despite all this, I excelled. I graduated high school as valedictorian, earned my business degree from Stanford with highest honors, and completed my MBA by 23. While Douglas was struggling through a business degree at the local university, I was developing patents that would later become cornerstone products for Lancaster Technologies. My grandfather, he'd always seen something in me. Before his death, when I was 18, he'd sneak me into board meetings. "Watch how they negotiate," he'd whisper. "Notice who speaks and who listens." The other board members would just smile at William, bringing his little shadow. They didn't realize I was absorbing every single thing. One of these board members, Victor Chan, became my mentor after my grandfather passed. When I completed my MBA, it was Victor who helped me secure a position at a competing firm. His advice, echoing my grandfather's, was to learn the industry from all angles. "Your father needs to see your value from the outside," Victor explained over coffee. "Sometimes family cannot recognize the talent right in front of them." Full story on the channel. Link below. Click now and watch what happened next.